Hey kids, it's Dr. B. If you've been watching my videos and you know me, you know I love my dogs. But in the US, there are millions of dog bites every year, and the majority of those are in kids. So this is a very important topic in pediatrics. Here's me with our Great Dane Duke when I was very young and cute. And this illustrates why kids get bit often, because kids are smaller and they're often at face level with the dog. And they have a hard time also reading how a dog feels and understanding the warning signs that a bite is about to happen. We also had a Doberman when I was young growing up. This is Heidi. Most bites to young kids are on the head, face, or neck, especially on the lips and cheeks. About 60% of bites are on that upper area. As kids get older, the extremities, the hands, become much more likely targets. Of course, all this can cause lifelong fear and anxiety. To reinforce the lessons of today's lecture, we're going to have quizzes along the way. So, question one, which group is bitten by dogs most often in the United States? A, adults over age 65, B, teenagers, C, children, or D, dog trainers? And the answer is C. Children are the group that's most often bit in the United States. We often worry about random loose street dogs biting kids, coming up and biting them out of nowhere. But the fact is, the vast majority of dog bites are from familiar dogs, family pets, friends' dogs, or relatives' dogs. Any breed can bite. The injury severity is really related more to dog size than to breed. Common triggers of dog bites include disturbing the dog while they eat or sleep, taking away toys or food, getting in the middle of a dog fight, even a friendly one like you see here, rough play, and hugging dogs. Sometimes they misinterpret that. This is my daughter Olivia hugging one of our dogs with the other dogs circling like sharks. This is a situation that could go south without good dog training and good supervision. Now, your second reinforcing quiz question is, most dog bites in children come from A, stray dogs, B, police dogs, C, untrained puppies, or D, dogs the child knows? The correct answer here is dogs that the child knows and is familiar with. Maybe dogs that we actually trust. Any dog can bite, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So, what should you do if your child gets bit? This is Olivia again, this time getting nibbled by our little rat terrier Guinness when he came home to her. First, if there's a lot of bleeding, you want to control the bleeding with pressure and get that checked right away. If bleeding is minimal, go ahead and wash the wound thoroughly with soap and water. If the injury is minor, you can apply a bandage and some antibiotic ointment, but don't glue a dog bite closed or tightly close the wound. Leave some air there. Every dog bite should get checked by a doctor, especially deep punctures or crush injuries, bites on the face, the hands, the feet, or the genitals, or any bite with redness and swelling. Bites can look small and minor, but they can get infected, and that can be very serious. So question 3, of the following, which should you do first after a dog bite? A, apply an antibiotic ointment. B, cover it with a Band-Aid. C, wash the wound thoroughly with soap and water. Or D, call animal control. And the correct answer is C, wash the wound thoroughly with soap and water. Of course, if there's a lot of bleeding, we're going to want to stop the bleeding first. But most of these don't bleed too much, thank goodness. So wash the wound thoroughly with soap and water is the right answer here. So why do we worry so much about infection? I mean, aren't dogs' mouths supposed to be cleaner than humans' mouths? Well, that is a complete myth. Dogs' mouths are no cleaner than humans' mouths, and they carry plenty of bacteria that can cause a bad infection. So every bite should be taken seriously. Warning signs of infection include increasing redness, swelling, and pain, warmth to the wound, pus production, or red streaking from the wound. And if things get really bad, the child can develop a fever. Oral antibiotics may not always be needed for dog bites. Some bites, like deep puncture wounds, are more likely to get infected. Also, the location of the wound tells us how likely it is to get infected. As you can see from this chart, bites on hands are more likely to get infected for various anatomical reasons from the structure of the hand. While head and face wounds, despite this being the most likely area for kids to get bit, are much less likely to get infected. Still, you should take all these bites seriously and let your doctor decide what needs to be done. That brings up question 4. Which sign suggests a dog bite may be infected? Is it A, mild soreness on day 1, B, itching as the wound heals, C, worsening redness and swelling after 1 to 2 days, or D, formation of a scab? And the answer is C, worsening redness and swelling after 1 to 2 days. It should be getting better, not worse. So if this is happening, you definitely need to get it checked out. So we're talking about bacterial infections of wounds, but when we think of dog bites, we also think of that very serious infection, rabies. And everyone remembers the scene in To Kill a Mockingbird where Gregory Peck has to shoot that dog. And also there's always this killer St. Bernard Cujo. Rabies is a very scary thing because if contracted, it attacks the nervous system and is 100% fatal. So we need to consider this with every dog bite. Good news though, because most bites are from family dogs or familiar dogs, these dogs are usually healthy and vaccinated against rabies. And we're often able to closely observe the dog for signs of rabies, like staggering, weakness, drooling, or aggression. There's also a vaccine and antibodies that can be given to a child immediately after dog bite to keep them from developing rabies. So there's been no US case of rabies caused by a dog since I was about 10 years old. So you know that's a long time. We're most concerned about rabies these days when the dog can't be located or if the child's been bitten by a stray or wild animal. In these cases, immediate prophylaxis with anti-rabies products would be given, but all bites, even those from family pets, should be investigated to see if this is necessary because, like I said, 100% fatal. We don't want to make a mistake here. Question 5. Your child's bitten by a healthy vaccinated dog that can be observed for 10 days. Do they A, always require rabies shots? B, usually require rabies shots? C, usually not require rabies shots? Or D, require immediate hospitalization? And the answer is C. They usually don't require rabies shots. This is something that definitely needs to be looked at closely, and you need to talk to your doctor and probably animal control about this one. The final type of infection we need to worry about with dog bites is the potentially life-threatening tetanus infection, which we talked about in our last episode, episode 79. Any wound that breaks the skin doesn't have to be a dog bite. It can cause tetanus, so this needs to be considered as well. Wash out the wound, that'll help, but I do strongly recommend everyone is covered for tetanus. A minor bite, very superficial, no tetanus shot is needed if it's been less than 10 years since the last one. A deeper, dirty, or more serious bite, you need to have had a tetanus shot within the last 5 years. So make sure to watch that episode, episode 79 as well. Question 6, why do doctors ask about tetanus after a dog bite? I mean, this isn't a rusty nail, right? A, tetanus comes from dog saliva. B, tetanus spreads person to person. C, bacteria can enter through any open wound. D, it only affects adults. Correct answer again is C, bacteria can enter through any open wound. What about stitching up the dog bite? Do dog bites get stitched up? Well, there's some studies that show that if you sew it up, it's more likely to get infected. There are other studies that say that is not the case. So it really depends on where the bite is, how bad it is, and how likely it is to get infected. Now let me bring up that chart again. Kids are most likely to be bit on the face, right? And as you can see, that's an area that's less likely to get infected. Also, you don't want a big scar on the face. So if a child gets bit on the face and it might scar badly, we'll probably go ahead and sew it up. Hands are more likely to get infected, so we may be a little more conservative there and leave the wound open or delay closure of the wound for another day or two. So really, we need to see the wound, see how bad it is, see where it is, and make a decision after that. So that's another reason to get dog bites to your doctor as soon as possible. Question 7, why are some dog bites left open instead of stitched? A, stitches always cause scars. B, closing the wound may trap bacteria. C, bites don't heal well. And D, children can't get stitches. And the answer is B. Closing the wound may trap bacteria, so we want to be careful and think this one through and not just sew up everything automatically. Now you've watched all 80 of my videos, so you know that I always say prevention is the most important thing we can talk about. Kids, especially young kids, should always be supervised while they play with dogs. Your child also needs to know when and how to play with the family dog so they don't provoke a bite. Dogs that bite aren't necessarily bad dogs. Any dog, even one that's never bit anyone before, any dog that's stressed or anxious can bite. And there are warning signs of this that you should learn to recognize and teach to your children. Here's some examples. A stressed or anxious dog often doesn't make good eye contact. They'll give you that side eye look. There may be a lot of white to their eyes showing. They'll try to look away, ears back, trying to make themselves look small, maybe licking their lips or yawning. These are my twins. Kona on the left looks happy and excited and alert. Her mouth is open, her tongue's out. She actually looks happy. Nala on the right looks worried. I don't know why she looks so worried. I think she just didn't like having her photo taken. But you can see the difference here in which dog would be more likely to be nervous or stressed or even aggressive. So make sure you review these sorts of signs with your children and always supervise them around dogs. Question 8. Which behavior is most likely to trigger a dog bite? A. Hugging a dog or disturbing it while eating. B. Calm petting with supervision. C. Walking past the dog. Or D. Loud talking or laughing near a dog. And the answer is A. Hugging a dog or disturbing it while it's eating. Definitely want to avoid those two situations. And one final bonus question. The best way to reduce dog bite risk in children is A. Avoiding all dogs. B. Training large dogs not to bite. C. Vaccinating dogs against rabies. Or D. Close supervision and teaching safe behavior. And of course the answer is A. Avoiding all dogs. No, that's not the best way. Close supervision and teaching safe behavior. D. We definitely want to make sure we do this because prevention is a lot better than having to fix the problem later. In summary, half of bites are going to be in children, and it's going to be done by a dog familiar to the family, familiar to the child. Make sure that you wash these wounds early and get them to a doctor right away so we can see if we need to do anything about tetanus or rabies or infection or repair the wound. Supervision and prevention are the most important things, however, to make sure the bite doesn't happen in the first place. Well, I hope this gave you some good information. We're going to try to come back next week. I am right in the process of moving. We're trying to finish up and get up to North Carolina. There's been a lot of snow, so things are slow going right now. But we're going to try to make another video for next week, hopefully something interesting. And then I'll be up in North Carolina and we'll see what cases are like up there. Well, y'all know me. I'm Dr. B, and this has been The Buzz of Parenting and Pediatrics. Make sure you subscribe, comment, like, share. Do whatever you can to help us so we know that you're out there. We'll keep making great videos for you, and we'll see you next time.